What do you consider as your turning point in your career?
Turning point in my career. So, siguro when I was with Coke, and this is very recent, I can vividly remember. Last year, February. So normally naman kasi company, multinational, especially multinational company, they go into the organizational, every 3 years or 5 years, depending on kung kailan papalitan yung mga CEO. So it happened 2016. So nagkaroon ng reorg sa Coca-Cola in the corporate level. So pinalitan yung CEO, yung mga ganyan sa pinalitan. And then kami being reporting dun sa global, sa Atlanta. So they reviewed yung under them. So they compare yung mga, we call them job grades pero sa iba yung position title or job roles, sa amin po job grades. So they compare kung pare-pareho kayo ng job grades. Tapos kung tama ba yung job grades na yun. So they found out na yung job grades ko should be a job grade lower. Job grade lower na. So February 1, they called me in HR. So akala ko nun, we will be only discussing issue about, kasi kami inaayos kami about organization, ganyan. So I was surprised kasi they gave me parang redundancy letter. So I have 2 options. One is to receive the package, which is very generous. Or second is to accept the job but at a lower job grade. So meaning, mas mababa ang sweldo, mas mababa na yung mga allowances. Kasi sa amin, depending on the job grades, depende rin yung allowances. So yun, that's really my turning point. So I was thinking, am I good enough to be really an accountant or to be in this profession? But that situation actually was, I would say a testimony how good my God is. Kasi that's the time na without a doubt, sabi ko, nag-usap ko ng wife ko, we're about to start a new, kasi nga meron kaming yung couples needs, we're about to start a new group na tuturuan namin for a marriage. It's like a marriage counseling, but this one it's 12 weeks sessions. So pinag-usapan namin. So before siguro nangyari sa akin yun, I would lose hope. But then again, sabi ko hindi. Kasi I know there's always a better platform. So sabi ko, sige, tatanggapin ko yung package. So tatanggapin ko yung package, then hanap ako ng work kasi bata pa naman ako, ganyan. So he directed me to right people, kung sino yung kakausapin ko. Na one is to confirm yung decisions ko. And then the second one is to give me an opportunity. And then this one came. So sobrang na-overwhelm ako nung February. It happened February. April, before ma-end yung employment ko with Coca-Cola, this one came. Yung job offer na. Kasi syempre may mga series of interviews, this one and other companies as well. Wala pa mga assurance that time. But right before my last day, talagang tumawag sa akin and then binigyan ako ng job offer. And I was surprised, sabi ko sa'yo earlier, di ba? Na meron pa palang local company that can, be at par pagdating sa compensation, pagdating sa, and even more. Kasi, nakakatuwa pa, after 3 months of working here, they gave me merit increase, and sobrang taas, 25%. That's unheard of. Sobrang unheard of. So that's my turning point. So meaning that situation turned my profession really upside down. So from just being a manager to a completely, a top executive position.
And what did you learn from this experience?
From this experience, really trust yourself, kasi you know yourself. You know how you can perform as who you are. So you know your skills, you know your values, you know how your work attitude or habits. So you always need to trust yourself. Of course, trust God. Yun naman talaga ang importante. Number one yun eh. But apart from that, you need to trust yourself as well.
Sige. Let's proceed now with the questions regarding taxes.
Sige, go.
Do you believe that taxes are the lifeblood of the government?
Yes, because 80 to 90% of collections are really from taxes. So that's based from Department of Finance figure. So it's really the lifeblood of the government. So they cannot function without funds. And majority, and sabi ko 80 to 90% are really from taxes.
What are your thoughts on tax reduction?
Tax reduction actually, it can either be construed as tax evasion or tax avoidance. Some may say tax avoidance and tax evasion are two different things. Pero sabi nga, kasi I heard in one of Kiminares, the previous commissioner, in one of her interviews, sabi niya, there's no such thing as tax avoidance. Kasi tax avoidance, they thought it's a legal way of reduction of the tax. But in effect, effectively, you're also tax evading. So those two, when you say tax reduction, to me, it can be construed as tax avoidance or tax avoidance.
So you don't agree with tax avoidance?
Tax avoidance.
Do you have pero you're not talaga sa taxes, no? Parang your experience as an accountant, parang hindi talaga more on taxes talaga.
Yes, but I know taxes.
Kasi me as being not an accountant naman, parang, and I've interviewed a lot of accountants. They've mentioned na the tax evasion and the tax avoidance. And mention nga nila na the other one is the legal way and the other one is the illegal way.
Yes, that's actually how majority of accountants think. Pero to me kasi, if you come to think about it, tax avoidance, you're finding ways on how to reduce taxes, right? And siguro there are certain codes in the BAR that they can argue that it can be as part of tax reduction or tax avoidance. But at the end of the day, if you're really not paying the right taxes, it can be construed as tax evasion, regardless if it's tax avoidance or just reducing your taxes.
How do accountants and bookkeepers deal with tax payment reduction?
Kasi nowadays, more and more companies are looking for accountants that can ingenuity find ways to reduce taxes. And gusto nila kasi parang ma-reallocate mo yung resources to a more profit making business, no? So ang ginagawa natin kasi malaking factor din naman pagka you're paying taxes, diba? So instead of paying taxes, not necessarily paying the right taxes or paying or evading, but at least you're saving some for the taxes, you allocate that to the business or to the operations. So nowadays, thinking ng mga accountants is that we need to look for avenues on how we can reduce taxes. And sabi ko, as I mentioned, to me, majority will say there's a legal way. There's always legal way, and I don't disagree. I don't disagree naman with that thinking. It's just that it's very hard to draw the line between tax avoidance and tax evasion.
Do you think that that is one of the reasons why taxpayers do not pay the right taxes? Parang they want to allocate the money.
That's one. Actually, there are three. I would say three C's. No? Three C's. One is they lost the confidence in the government. They know that when they pay the taxes, either the right or the not so right taxes, government will just pocket it. You will just put it in their pocket. So they lost the confidence sa government as an institution. So they lost that confidence that they pay the right taxes, wala silang makikita ng money in return. No, that's one.
Are you saying that they can see the improvements sa infrastructures,
sa health, education, and everything, no? And number two is yung convenience. It's convenience kasi it's convenient for the taxpayer kasi they can reallocate it to the business. Diba? Para at least mas lumago pa yung business ko, I need more funds. So rather than setting aside for taxes, I can still use this one for the operation. So that's the second C. So the third one is compare. Because we always compare it. So bakit, kunyari ganito, bakit si ganitong company na-file lang ng case na convict na, pero wala namang binabalik din naman sa government. So we tend to compare our status